Broadcasting from the ARN Racing Studios in Southern California, a turn for media company, ARN Los Angeles. This is ARN, the American Racing Network, the Motorsports Authority. Now,
drivers, start your engine!
You're shifting gears on ARN with Alan Bailey.
Well, there goes the neighborhood.
You name it, we got it. NASCAR.
He's going to do it. He's going to win the race and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. California's Kevin Harvick does it. Holy cow!
IndyCar.
Will Power is an IndyCar champion. Thank you for calling.
Drag racing.
Jason line red lights and gives it away. Eric Enders becomes the 17th champion in the history of funny car with a hammer down throw run.
Supercross.
Ken Roczen.
And so much more. So get ready. You're shifting gears on ARN with Alan Bailey.
That you are. Welcome on in, Gearheads. Post-race, the NASCAR XFinity Series is done, and guess what? Kevin Harvick, that guy who just keeps winning in NASCAR, won again out here in Southern California. We're live from the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Beautiful, very hot day out here in Southern California, but hey, it's California. What did you expect? Kevin Harvick winning in that Tax Slayer Chevrolet. Brendan Gaughan coming home second, followed by Eric Jones, Chase Elliott, and Chris Buescher rounding out your top five. Heck of a race out here in Southern California, man. I'm telling you, we saw some extraordinarily fierce racing out here. There's no doubt about it. It was absolutely incredible. We saw cars 3 and 4 wide all day long. A lot of people said it got boring right there at the end. And then, whenever you get a long green stretch run out here in Fontana, I'm not saying it's boring. I'm just saying it's not as interesting when they're 5 wide and it's like a pack of dogs going after meat on a string or something. That's the kind of effect that you get out here at the Auto Club, really, truly. And it's just absolutely amazing. Kevin Harvick continuing this streak, absolutely incredible. He'll join us in just a little bit. Got a chance to catch up with him out in Victory Lane a little bit ago. I will play that for you in just a little bit. Also, a couple of more things that I want to tell you that's coming up on the program today. Not just a NASCAR show, but also Supercross going on right now out in Detroit, actually, out at Ford Field right now. It is the 250 Heat 1, 2 laps to go in that. Hampshire on that number 80 Supercross bike 250 is out in front right now. Right now, your top 5, Hampshire, Smith, Nicholas, DeVos, and Rodriguez right now in 250 Heat 1 out there in Detroit as they're underway. We'll give you updates throughout the program on that as well. But I want to tell you, Kevin Harvick won the race in that TaxSlayer.com number 88 Chevrolet for JR Motorsports. I know that Dale Earnhardt Jr. was in Victory Lane. He's on his way to the media center. We'll have that for you as it happens live. Brendan Gaughan coming home second in that South Point Chevrolet, and that number 62 Chevrolet coming home second. Eric Jones, who sat on the pole in that GameStop Toyota, coming home third, followed by Chase Elliott, the defending champ, coming home fourth. Chris Buescher coming home fifth, with Brian Scott sixth, Kyle Larson seventh, eighth Brad Keselowski, 9th, Regan Smith, and Elliott Sadler rounding out your top 10. I want to give a couple of notables here to some great runs. First off, Ryan Reed, 11th. 12th, Darrell Wallace Jr., who looked like he had a legitimate shot at winning this race. He led a few laps. He was battling right there with Happy Harvick right there for the lead, always in the top 5, but just unfortunately didn't pit right there and just kind of went back in the field during that last run. Daniel Suarez coming home 13th, the rookie. Ty Dillon coming home 14th. Also, Denny Hamlin, who got trapped a lap down after speeding during his final pit stop on pit road, finished 18th, the first car, 1 lap down. Also, a couple more notables going through the field here. Sam Harness Jr., who did have some engine issues, coming home 37th. 36th, Dakota Armstrong, same issue. Austin Dillon also had some engine issues in that number 33 Chevrolet, coming home 38th. And Carl Long and Jeff Green also with suspension and brake issues on their Dodge and their Toyota respectively, coming home 39th and 40th on the field. Going to be very interesting indeed, because a lot of things happened out there in this Xfinity race, and it really truly proves and I'm not just saying that because it's my home racetrack. I'm not just saying it because I'm out here live. I'm saying it because I believe it. I honestly think this is the best racetrack that we go to on the circuit. I said it. You can criticize me, the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram handle at the Alan Bailey. You can also use the hashtag ARNRace. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Yeah, we get some long green flag runs. I'm not denying that. This place lends itself to that because there's so much room on this racetrack. You can literally race 6 wide if you wanted to. There's no double yellow line regulation, so literally you can put your tires in the grass if you want to. I do not recommend it. I really don't, but it's possible out here. But truly, it's amazing because you can get 5 cars 5 wide on this racetrack, going through the turns and down the straightaway, and legitimately, every single line is fast. There's no one line that's the preferred line because there's multiple preferred lines. There's about 3 lanes on the racetrack that is quote-unquote preferred, and ultimately, it doesn't matter where you race on this racetrack. You can literally put it anywhere. The only thing you absolutely have to do, keep it in that same lane throughout the turns. If you try to go from one lane to the other, as Brendan Gaughan will tell you in a little bit. I caught up with him post-qualifying yesterday. As he tells you, it gets a little hairy because when you go across those weepers and those seams, the car gets very loose and a little out of control, and you have to basically slow down in order to control that race car. And more often than not, you wash up the racetrack, and that becomes a bit of an issue. So we will get into that. A lot of interesting stuff happening. In Supercross, lots of interesting things on the docket for Supercross. They're out in Detroit right now. The first heat of the 250 is in the books right now. I want to point something out. Ryan Dungey might possibly win every race from here to Vegas. And I'm being 100% serious. He's very much on his way to his second 450 Superclass championship. 45-point lead over second heading into this weekend's race tonight at Detroit out in Ford Field. And honestly, he's been looking really good all weekend. I'm not exaggerating. He's looking very, very stout. And you got to stop and think for yourself, well, can anybody catch him now? Honestly, because this is one heck of a season he's got going on, and this is one heck of a ride he's got going on here. We'll talk about that. We'll give you updates all race long. On the program tonight, obviously we're going to have Kevin Harvick on in a little bit. Carl Edwards, got a chance to catch up with him post-qualifying. He wrecked his primary in the first practice yesterday out here at the Auto Club Speedway. Went to a backup car, and unfortunately he could not get any laps in the backup car until qualifying, so got his initial reaction as soon as he was done with his qualifying effort. He's going to be rolling off in the 15th position tomorrow here at the Auto Club Speedway for the Auto Club 400. And if you're thinking, well, I kind of want to go watch those guys out at Auto Club. Great racing today in the Xfinity race and just great overall. I definitely want to go watch them. I'm sorry. If you don't have your ticket, you're out of luck. You know why? They sold out. Yeah. Pretty incredible, honestly. Very incredible. The Auto Club Speedway track president, Dave Allen, made the announcement early this morning, and this was about 9 o'clock this morning. He made the announcement that the Auto Club Speedway has sold out for the second straight year. Very, very cool. He did say that they are still selling standing room tickets only. You can join the Auto Club 400 festivities, and you can call 1-800-944-RACE. That is 1-800-944-7223 if you want to try to get some tickets. But obviously, we know Kyle Busch isn't going to win for a third time in a row. He's not racing this weekend. He's still recovering from his injury. It's going to be very interesting because Kyle Larson, I think he's going to have a great car this weekend. The guy to beat this weekend for tomorrow's race, though, the guy who's in the room right next to me, Kevin Harvick, I got to put my money on him, but I'm putting my money on his teammate, Kurt Busch. On the pole, first time he's been on the pole since he's back from his suspension earlier this season by NASCAR. And I got to tell you, I haven't seen an outpouring of support for a single driver like this in quite some time. Friday, when he got the pole and when he got out of the car, the roars were uplifting. It sounded exactly like Jeff Gordon when he got his pole in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. That was the same response. I think the crowd was louder here in Auto Club, and the thing is, there wasn't as much of a crowd out here at Auto Club on Friday like there was Friday at Vegas. So that should tell you something. There was less people here on Friday, yet it was louder. People want Kurt to succeed. And I don't know if it's because it's the notion of, oh, yeah, screw you, NASCAR. I don't think that's it. I think it's because generally Kurt is liked by fans. We might try to give him the bad boy persona, and we might try to tell him, nah, screw you, Kurt, we don't like you. But when it comes down to it, he's got a lot of fans. And the fact that the team and his sponsors and everybody stuck behind him through that entire ordeal should tell you something. And the fact that Gene Haas has always stood by Kurt and has always believed in Kurt is kind of uplifting as well. That's something to really think about with this story. So we'll get into Kurt Busch sitting on the pole. I got a chance to catch up with him yesterday after his pole win, and you could tell he's... I'm trying to think of the way to the perfect way to describe this. He's kind of like the puppy that went through hell trying to get home and then got home, and now he's just a little off, you know? And yes, I just compared Kurt Busch to a puppy. I don't care. Make it bite me. But no, Kurt's that guy who really truly just he was struggling with it personally. And how can you not through everything that the guy went through? But he struggled with it. He got through it okay. And guess what? He's back in the championship hunt. He's potentially right there in the championship hunt. He wins out here at Auto Club. He's qualifying for the chase. And he's in the chase. NASCAR said, yeah, he's going to be here. That's a fact. He's in the chase. So he's not in the chase 100% officially yet, but more or less if he wins, he is. So I don't know. If he wins out here tomorrow and I end up talking to him here, the first question I'm going to ask him, you're in the chase. Is this awkward? Is it? Because now it's kind of like Kurt, and I'm using this I don't mean any offense by this, and I don't have a double meaning with this. It's kind of like Kurt broke up with a girlfriend and then had to move back in with her and kind of was there living in her space, and yet he started dating somebody else, and now, oh, this isn't awkward at all, yeah. And by no way am I going anywhere near that. I'm not saying his ex-girlfriend's name on the air because it's clear at this point she's very, very attention-seeking. I'm going to get into what I think of her. Trust me. I'm not saying her name. I refuse to say her name on the air. You know why? She's gone to great lengths this week to prove that she clearly has a personal vendetta against the guy, and she's clearly willing to do and say anything in order to make herself look better. And in the process of doing this, she's looking like a complete fool, and she's making herself look so bad that you gotta wonder, you know, this is going to end badly. Has anybody told her that? Has anybody told her, hey, if you keep saying these things that aren't true, it's just going to keep getting worse for you? And eventually it's going to lead to you losing your job and you living in a less nice house, and you're going to move out. You're going to have all these issues, these personal issues. Do you know that's where this is going, lady? I mean, seriously. We'll get into it. It's a very interesting set of conversations that I honestly didn't think I was going to have on the air, but then after everything that happened with her this week, it was kind of like, okay, so I'm going to write an open letter to her because this is just, it's bad. Like, I don't know any other way to say it, but it's bad, and it keeps getting worse, and it's not a good situation at all. It's not funny. I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm not trying to be glib and make fun of her here. I'm truly not. I'm saying it's bad and it needs to stop. And I'm 100% serious. It absolutely needs to stop. Lady, I'm telling you, just end it. Call it a day. There you go. We're live from the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Post-race show for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Kevin Harvick is your winner. He's going to be joining us in just a little bit. Supercross action, 250 Heat Race number 2 is underway. We'll get you an update next. You're shifting gears right here on ARN.
Hello you, how was the rest? You made it through, but nevertheless, I got you out on a wire. You be love and I'll be a liar.
Sick of bad race coverage or not at all from those other networks? Make ARN your one and only for all things motorsports. ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
Hey guys, this is your buddy Lugnuts, and if you're looking to build a great website, then look no further than Apollo Aesthetics. art and functionality merged into web design. It doesn't get any better than Ruben Asuna. Don't believe me? Check out ApolloAesthetics.com. That's Apollo, AESTHETICS.com. Apollo Aesthetics, the official web builder of Lugnuts Radio.
Army Specialist Andrew Pike became paralyzed while serving in Iraq.
My injury was a gunshot wound to the left abdomen from a sniper. My first contact with paralyzed veterans was in Walter Reed.
Paralyzed veterans National Service Officer Michael Killen.
We try to reassure them what benefits are out there, try to educate them and take some of that stress away from them.
Right now I'm going back to school to earn a degree, and I'm just spending time with my wife and child.
You can help our paralyzed veterans. Visit pva.org.
That last apartment looked more like a tool shed.
That's because it was a tool shed, dear. I thought I'd show you the less than desirable apartments first because your credit is less than acceptable. But no worries, plenty of apartments. Let's try this one.
It's a broom closet.
Don't be silly, dear. It was a broom closet. Now it's apartment 3AA.
Potential landlords can and will check your credit before giving you a lease. Don't let your credit put you in a bad place. Go to controlyourcredit.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Treasury and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeff Hammond alongside NASCAR driver David Reagan.
When it comes to tire safety, nothing is more important than your tire's air pressure.
Just like a pit stop, checking your air pressure takes just a few moments.
And those few moments will not only keep you and your family safe on the road, it can also help save you money.
Properly inflated tires can improve gas mileage, which will save you money at the pump.
So be tire smart and make sure your tires are properly inflated.
Learn more at betiresmart.org. A message from the Rubber Manufacturers Association.
Take ARN anywhere. Download your favorite ARN programs on iTunes. Keyword search ARN and listen online at arnrace.com. Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Stash Feed. Get the feed. Log on to stashfeed.com to see what you've been missing and get the feed. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Bailey.
We're live from the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. NASCAR Xfinity Series race in the books, getting you ready for the Auto Club 400 tomorrow here in Fontana, California. Kevin Harvick, your winner today out here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Second win of the 2015 season in the Xfinity Series for Kevin Harvick. And oh, by the way, he's won a couple races in the Cup Series too. And I feel I should reiterate this. We're only 4 races in. Kevin Harvick has won literally half the races we've run. I'm not exaggerating. He's won 2 in Nationwide of the 4. He's won 2 in Cup of the 4. Is he just going to keep doing this whole winning thing? I'm being serious. He keeps doing it. Guys, it's everywhere. He keeps winning. But seriously, at the Alan Bailey, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you can also use the hashtag ARNRace to get in on this conversation as well. I had a chance to catch up with Kevin Harvick in Victory Lane, actually, out on the grass out here at the Auto Club Speedway just a few minutes ago. Kevin Harvick, another win in Xfinity now, not Nationwide any longer. How was it out there at Auto Club today?
It was great, to wind up here in Victory Lane. Finally, this is one of the racetracks that we had to try to check off the list as we hadn't been able to win here through the years. We've been close several times, but just really proud of everybody on our TaxSlayer.com team for just really an all-around good day, from pit calls to pit stops to practices, qualifying. Everybody just did a great job.
It seems like no matter what you're doing, it's just going to come up 1-2, whether it's here in Xfinity or in the Cup Series. What are you going to translate to tomorrow's Cup car that you learned out here today?
Well, this is a racetrack you can translate a lot, and from a driver's standpoint, just nitpicking the racetrack and trying to get that extra tenth out of the car and be able to find those places that on the racetrack that really help you get into your rhythm bleeds right over from Saturday to Sunday. So definitely happy that I was in the car this weekend, and hopefully we can keep it rolling tomorrow.
What's the biggest challenge for tomorrow's 500 or 400-mile race?
Just getting the car, the balance on the car right. And I think as you look at the car we had today in traffic, it probably wasn't the best car. But once we were able to get track position, and we definitely had the fastest car, and that goes to show you that our balance and the decisions that we made overnight were the right ones. So it doesn't always work that way, and sometimes you have to adjust on it as you get into the race. But all in all, Dave's done a great job, and this is my 3rd race in the car, and we've won 2 of them, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Pretty darn good record. Congratulations. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
very darn good record. Kevin Harvick, seriously, what's in the guy's Wheaties? I need to know. I mean, frankly, when you have a kid, you settle down, you slow down. Isn't that the kind of stereotype and thought process behind that? It's called settling down for a reason. But Kevin Harvick, he's going a million miles an hour right now. The defending champ, he won 2 races to close out the season last year. He did not win in Daytona, but he finished, he finished second in Daytona. And then we went to Atlanta. Another second place finish for Kevin Harvick there. He goes out to Vegas, and guess what? Wins the thing. He goes into Phoenix, wins the thing. He comes into this weekend out at the Auto Club Speedway, and guess what? He's been in the top 5 every practice, which is saying something, and he qualifies second. Seriously, what's in the guy's Wheaties? I need to know. Is it gasoline? Is it gasoline? Is he drinking gas? No, I want to know. I seriously do. Kevin Harvick, what are you drinking? Let me know. I need to know. Because I'm not saying I'm slow, but, the tortoise passed me like 10 years ago, so I need to speed up here, pal. What's in your Wheaties? I'm just saying. Let me know. I got a chance to catch up with Kevin Harvick's teammate, Kurt Busch, who just so happened to win the pole for tomorrow's 500-mile race out, or 400-mile race out here at the Auto Club Speedway. And you could tell Kurt is he's thrilled, but he knows it's a privilege to be here, and he's still a little bit emotionally shook up over everything that's happened, I think, but ultimately, he's back, and he's hitting the ground running.
Kurt Busch, your pole winner in Fontana. Congratulations.
Thank you. It feels great to being the pole sitter here at California Speedway for Gene Haas right here in Southern California. He's got his big headquarters over in Oxnard, California. Visited it yesterday with all the employees, all the excitement, all the love. That's what I felt over the last few months, and I have to thank Gene Haas. So it's great to deliver for him and put it on the pole here at California Speedway.
How's your car? Because obviously you unloaded a rocket or something, because this car's been just blazing fast all weekend.
Yeah, she's dialed in, and it's up to me to communicate to the team on changing track conditions, tire wear, fuel burn off. And, we'll get into those race sequences tomorrow in practice, but nothing will duplicate those restarts. Those restarts here at California Speedway, where we see cars 4, 5 wide, we've got to do our job when all the money's on the line, hopefully at the end of the 400 miles on Sunday.
And looking at the racetrack, it's one of the oldest surfaces we have out here in NASCAR. What's it like out there today, and what's the biggest challenge for Sunday?
The biggest challenge is tire wear and making sure that you're not abusing the tires too early in the run. A day like today, you're trying to get all you can out of those poor tires, and they had their tongues hanging out there, and I'm glad they hung on just enough to put us on the pole and be here up in the podium in the Coors Light Pole Award.
Congratulations. Good luck Sunday.
Thank you.
You could tell Kurt right there, he's extraordinarily happy. You can tell he's grateful for being back here, but he knows that the next screw up, if he does screw up again, that could be it, because this was really close to ruining his career. And I think I've said that maybe 5 times in Kurt's career, but honestly, this would have been the one to end his career. And somehow he squeaked out of it. And I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent, because we don't know. There wasn't enough evidence to prove A or B. So we don't know. But ultimately, Kurt is trying to put that behind him. We're going to try to do that too. The fans are always going to remember that. They're always going to kind of hold that over his head. But ultimately, Kurt went through something that is very difficult, that is very trying, one way or the other. Obviously, it was a bad breakup there, but Kurt is trying to put all of that behind him, and right now he's focusing on racing, and you can definitely tell because he's got the pole out here in Fontana. And I remember I was here Friday at the racetrack, and just Kurt went straight to the top of the charts, first lap out. It was a rocket. They unloaded fast, and they've stayed there right on the top of the speed charts all weekend long, really. He hasn't really let up from that real top spot right there for Kurt. So we'll keep an eye on Kurt. I think he's going to do very good this weekend, because guess what? He just so happened to be fastest in final practice earlier today. Ran about 45 laps in that one. He was the fastest. The first lap was the fastest for Kurt. Tires do fall off here, but this one is, I think, very, very telling. They do 10-lap averages here. Any driver who runs 10 consecutive laps, they average that time out, and then they rank them. And 23 drivers ran 10 consecutive laps. Most of them ran their first 10 laps consecutively, but there were a couple of others that changed a few things and then went out there and ran another 10 laps to see what the car would do over a long run. And no surprise, Kurt Busch, best out of 10 laps in the 10-lap average. His teammate Kevin Harvick was second on that list, followed by Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski. So, honestly, this is going to be a Stewart-Haas kind of weekend. It's very much feeling like that, and it's a big deal for Kurt to win the pole because, obviously, his sponsor, Haas CNC Automation, they're located out here in California, in Southern California. He went and toured their facility on Thursday. Just a massive warehouse, and he got a chance to walk through it. And his team owner, Gene Haas, is from California as well. This is their home racetrack. For Kurt, this is somewhat of a second hometown racetrack for him. He's from the Las Vegas area, about 4 hours away from here at the racetrack. So it's a big deal to him to perform out here in Fontana, California. And for them to go out and be this fast all weekend long consistently, as long as that engine holds out and as long as cautions fall their way, I think that this is going to be an all Kurt Busch weekend. I truly do. We'll see what happens ultimately, but looking at the final practice for the Cup guys, Kurt Busch was fastest, followed by Paul Menard, who jumped up there late in the session. Kevin Harvick, his teammate, fourth, followed by Casey Mears, Jimmy Johnson rounding out your top five, followed by Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Newman, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. rounding out the top 10. Danica Patrick, 11th. 12th, we find David Reagan in that number 18 Interstate Batteries Toyota. Casey Kane, 13th. 14th, Greg Biffle. We'll get into Biffle's story for this weekend in a little bit. Matt Kenseth, 15th. 16th, Kyle Larson, 17th. Denny Hamlin, 18th. Carl Edwards, 19th. Austin Dillon in 20th. Fastest in final practice earlier today for the Sprint Cup Series. Clint Boyer. A couple of notables, Jeff Gordon, his final time racing out here in California in that Exalta Chevrolet, 22nd on the speed charts in final practice. Tony Stewart, 27th in final practice. Brett Moffitt, who's driving that number 55 Toyota for Michael Waltrip Racing, substituting for Brian Vickers, who had a recurrence of the clots in his system and will be out for quite a little bit here. He was 32nd on the speed charts. Subbing for Brett Moffitt is Chris Buescher in that number 34 Ford. He was 36th, and David Gilliland, 39th. Just a couple of notables right there outside the top 20. So ultimately, this is going to be an interesting weekend for a lot of reasons. It's going to be very interesting to see if Kurt Busch can win this race and actually qualify for the chase. That's something I'm keeping an eye on. The weekend had a very interesting start to it because Carl Edwards backed her, well, didn't back her into the fence, but he slid in turn 4, got that rear end against the wall, went to correct, overcorrected, and then planted the nose headfirst into that wall in turn 4, and they're going to a backup car. They went to a backup car yesterday out here at the track, qualified on the backup car, practice all day today on the backup car. Carl Edwards, 18th on the speed charts, but got a chance to catch up with Carl post-qualifying, and you could tell he wasn't the happiest guy out there, but considering he didn't have a single lap on it, 15th is pretty darn respectable.
Carl Edwards, you're going to be rolling off from the 15th position come Sunday for the Auto Club 400 in that Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. How's the car?
That's our backup car, and it's okay. It's good. So we basically got 2 laps on it, and the second lap was good enough for 15th in the field. So this will be a good race for us, and hopefully we can work on it a little bit tomorrow and have a little bit of fun on Sunday. Subway is huge for us. They do so much for me, and just want to have a good run for them.
And you look at what happened in practice. Obviously, you got loose and you got into the wall there in turn 4. What happened?
I got loose, and I should have quit while I was ahead. I tried to save it, and I overcorrected and smacked the fence. But it's just a decision you make at the time, and you can't take it back. And proud of my guys for putting this backup car together so well.
15th with this backup car, not too bad. How does this one drive compared to the primary?
It drives almost the same. There were some things that they didn't have time to do to accomplish on the setup. So that with those items changed, I think we should be pretty good. So I'm pretty optimistic.
And how's this racetrack? It's one of the oldest surfaces that we race on. How is it with those seams and everything?
perfect. This is how you're supposed to race. If they could build the new tracks like this, it'd be good. I hope they never repave this place. We're losing this character in all these new tracks that they pave. So, this Auto Club Speedway, this surface is the way that we like to drive.
It seems like the only thing that it seems to be an issue around here is those bumps down the backstretch. Kozlowski said he felt like a Supercross record on the backstretch.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be hard. This stuff's not supposed to be easy. There's supposed to be bumps. It's supposed to be difficult. That's what I like about racing.
Absolutely. Good luck on Sunday, Carl.
Thank you.
Carl's got a point there. If racing was easy, everyone would do it. And the fact of the matter is, it's difficult, it's hard, and that's the way it should be. Period, sentence, end of conversation. But that's how Carl Edwards feels, that's how I feel, and that's how a few people feel about racing, hopefully, maybe, who listen to this program, Gearheads. Talking to you. The heat number 1 for the 450 Supercross riders are in the books at Ford Field out there in Detroit for tonight's action. I encourage you, check out Fox Sports 1 as soon as you're done listening to this program. Check it out. Some great racing action going out there on at Detroit. 250 heat number 2 in the books. Justin Bogg winning that one. And Muskin, 25 KTM rider. Yeah, he finished second in that heat. I'm just saying, might be a KTM kind of weekend again for, the 107th time in a row it feels like. Yeah, that could happen again. I don't know. We'll get into it. Interesting. We'll get you the results from the 450 heat number 1, which is now in the books in just a little bit. Right now, we'll go ahead and we will step aside for the, we'll step aside here, not for the final time, but we'll step aside here, and when we get back, we will look a little closer at the race that happened out here today, and we'll hear from Dale Earnhardt Jr., who I hear is going to be in the media center any moment. Don't go anywhere. You're shifting gears right here on the American Racing Network, ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
Download your favorite ARN programs on iTunes. Keyword search ARN and listen online at arnrace.com.
Hey guys, this is your buddy Lugnuts, and if you're looking to build a great website, then look no further than Apollo Aesthetics. Art and functionality merged into web design. It doesn't get any better than Ruben Asuna. Don't believe me? Check out ApolloAesthetics.com. That's Apollo, AESTHETICS.com. Apollo Aesthetics, the official web builder of Lugnuts Radio.
Hi, I'm Jeff Hammond alongside NASCAR driver David Reagan.
When it comes to tire safety, nothing is more important than your tire's air pressure.
Just like a pit stop, checking your air pressure takes just a few moments.
And those few moments will not only keep you and your family safe on the road, it can also help save you money.
Properly inflated tires can improve gas mileage, which will save you money at the pump.
So be tire smart and make sure your tires are properly inflated.
Learn more at betiresmart.org. A message from the Rubber Manufacturers Association.
What is one NASCAR Unites wristband capable of doing? It can inspire a child to go farther in school. It can construct a brand new playground for kids who've never had one. It can introduce a child with a serious illness to his or her favorite NASCAR driver.
I'm Tony Stewart. I wear my band to Unite for Kids. Band together with me by logging on to www.nascar.com/unites to pledge your support.
Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Stash Feed. Get the feed. Log on to StashFeed.com to see what you've been missing and get the feed. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Bailey.
At the Alan Bailey on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also use the hashtag ARNRace in order to get in on this conversation as well. Want to give you the Supercross 450 Heat 1 results here. Cole Seeley picking up the victory in that Heat number 1. Peck coming home second. Anderson third. Fourth, we find Bragan. Baggett is fifth, followed by Waymer in sixth. Seventh, Way. Kennard, eighth. LeMay, 9th, and Schmidt, 10th right now in that 450 heat number 1 final results. Heat number 2 going to be kicking off just a little bit from Ford Field out in Detroit for Supercross. But right now, keep our NASCAR conversation going. We're live at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Team owner for Kevin Harvick, your race winner, is in the media center. We go live now to the media center out here.
To their schedule, but they'd like to be at the racetrack and continue to progress and continue to build on their momentum, the 7 and the 9 car especially. But that time away gives them opportunity to prepare, opportunity to talk and share notes, try to figure out how each of the teams can help each other. But the drivers would like to be out on the racetrack, and the crews would too, just to be able to be working and getting better. But I'm looking, me personally, looking forward to Martinsville. I know Chase is going to Martinsville to try to attempt his first Cup race. There'll be a lot of publicity surrounding that particular attempt, and we're hoping that he does really well, and I expect him to. So he's going to be busy, but yeah, it's it's a long season, and it's a different point system than what we run in the Cup level, so they got to be real methodical, and I like the things that I'm seeing out of all the cars, the 7 and the 9 particularly.
All right, we'll go ahead and take questions for Dale. If you have one, please state your name and affiliation. All right, we'll start with Holly and Bob. Go ahead.
Well, I was actually going to ask you a little bit about Chase and next week, and any advice, any way to help prepare him for his first Cup start? I was talking to his dad earlier, and he said, it's a little bit different with him because people maybe have high expectations, even though this is going to be his first start.
Yeah, certainly. I've read a lot of books about the history of the sport, and his first race is going to be quite a big spectacle compared to Bill's first attempt, and Bill came to several races before anybody ever took real notice, and driving the old Mercury that he bought from Penske. And I think that it's a good racetrack. Martinsville's a short track, and Chase is very experienced at racing on short tracks with all his little late model cars and stuff. So the style of racing is really going to be familiar to him, and that should make him more comfortable. And also, I love going to Martinsville, and it's one of the funnest races. But when it comes to the exposure of the event, maybe it's a nicer, less explosive. It's different than maybe trying out for the 600, making that your first event, or the Daytona 500, or Indianapolis, or something like that. So this will be an event that I think he can walk in and feel comfortable in. The environment will be comfortable to him, so he's not going to be overwhelmed. We've seen him not get overwhelmed about anything. Nothing really bothers that boy, so I think that he'll be just fine. He puts so much pressure on himself. That's probably the only thing that I think that he could probably work on, is just not to be so hard on himself. And everybody wants to improve, and everybody knows that he wants to improve, and you're never satisfied as a driver, no matter how well the car drives or where you finish. But he doesn't need to be that difficult and critical of himself. He can just get in there and have fun, relax. He is, nobody expects anything out of him in his first race. Just get in there and run laps and have fun, get the experience. And I think he's going to do great, so I don't think he has anything to worry about.
All right, Bob, go ahead.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. We've all been writing for a week about how Harvick's won 4 of the last 6 Cup races, dating back to last year. We're just wow. What's drivers' reaction to what he's done?
I don't think anybody's surprised. I think that everybody, as drivers, we're as close as anybody to what's going on in the garage and who's fast and who's competitive, and everybody's kind of seen this coming, I think, and anticipated. They could have done this last year. They just kept having them little weird gremlins, whether it was mechanical or just error, maybe a bad pit call or some trouble on pit road, whatever. They were fast every week, especially the first half of the year before anybody saw it. Anybody really knew it. They should have won a lot of races last year that they didn't win, and I'm sure they'd agree with that. they got something figured out, and I think that they're doing some things very clever. And Kevin's an amazing driver. Like I said, he's very focused, and his work outside the car helps him inside the car and helps his team. He's at times his own crew chief in a way about preparing and building and improving the program as a whole. So knowing that, I mean, he's going to be hard to beat every week. Rodney's an amazing talent on the pit box, and they just got some amazing speed in practice. They'll, like at Vegas and at practice, they're like 3 tenths faster than everybody else, and you're just like, golly, what have they got going on? And it don't last forever, so he's got to enjoy it while it's happening, and sooner or later, what they know will be common knowledge, and somebody or will be in search of the next advantage and find it. But they've got it right now, so it's our job to go out there and try to get smart and figure out what they're doing that's helping their cars and helping Kevin. So Kevin's very sharp, very clever, and so I don't think anybody's too surprised. Finally, they're able to put together races, and when you're the fastest car every week, you're going to win your share.
And that's Dale Earnhardt Jr. right there, live from the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, out here in the media center. He is the team owner of Kevin Harvick's car that just won the race out here, the NASCAR Xfinity Series race out here at the Auto Club Speedway. Want to get you an update on the 450 heat race number 2. They're in the final lap. Dungey leading right now in that heat number 2. He's about to clinch it. Tomac second, Short third, Reed fourth, and fifth, Trickle right now on the track out there out at Ford Field in Detroit. And it looks like, wow, we got a really good battle between Reed and Short right here for the third position. They're both in transfer spots, so it's not for a transfer spot, but they're going at it right now as this thing winds down. And Dungey's about to cross the start-finish line and pick up the win in heat number 2. Is he on fire, or is it just me? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on fire. He just won the race. He just won heat number 2 out there. Tomac coming home second, and we're watching. It looks like Reed let him get away, unfortunately. Short coming home third. Reed fourth right now in heat number 2, and Trickle fifth. Will not transfer on, but the top 4 do transfer on. Dungey, man, I'm telling you, he's on fire, and I like it a lot, Gearheads. I really, truly do, because when you're that good and you're this consistent, how can you not win a championship? They're going to win it. Mark my words. They truly will. It's just a matter of time before they clinch it. And it feels like they're going to clinch it any second now. It truly does, but we'll see what happens here, mathematically speaking, of course. I want to get back out to the track because interesting things happened. Got a chance to catch up with Brendan Gaughan post-qualifying yesterday, which is interesting because he also raced earlier today in the Xfinity race, came home second, which is pretty darn good to your corporate teammate right there. Whenever you're an Xfinity driver who races Cup part-time and you go out there and you're racing with the big dogs, that's a big deal, no matter what. Brendan Gaughan has been racing Cup Series more or less fairly regularly on and off for the last 10 years, but really I've always thought of him as a truck driver. He's always been a truck driver to me, and he moved up into Xfinity, a couple years back, and he's kind of bounced around from team to team, ended up at RCR with South Point Casinos on his car, and they're finding some magic underneath that hood, and they're making things work, and I like the fact that he's this consistent this early on in the season. That's a very good sign. They were struggling with that last season. They got a couple of wins last season, one at Road America, which was a big deal to Brendan because he's not a road course racer, and he'll be the first to tell you that. So we'll take you out to, we'll take you back in time, I guess, because I talked to him post-qualifying yesterday. While they were still qualifying the cars yesterday, got a chance to catch up with Brendan Gaughan, talk about making the race for Sunday, and also the Xfinity race today.
Out here on pit road, Brendan Gaughan, making the show for Sunday. That's got to be cherry on top for this weekend, right?
We almost made it on time even. We were toiling about a second slower than we needed to be, and Zach McGowan, my crew chief, and the boys at Premium, I said, you throw a kitchen sink? And they said, no, we remodeled the house. So they threw everything new at it, and we came out there and gained almost 2 seconds. So great job with the boys. Whatever they did before qualifying worked well, and we're in the show. We're going to have a good time.
And you look at everything that's going on out here. You got the Cup car and you got the Xfinity car. Does that just throw you for a loop, or is that seat time really great for you to have that time between two cars?
No, it helps a ton. I mean, it helps me in my Xfinity program. Coming here, getting on the racetrack first with this car, gets me warmed up for when I get over there. And then after running so fast, we're 5th quick in practice and one of the probably 3 best race cars on the racetrack over there. It comes back over here with a lot of confidence. So the boys worked hard. My confidence is up. We had a good qualifying run.
Looking at the Xfinity Series, you guys have been on fire lately. It seems like you guys are in the top 10. You're qualifying, you're running in the top 5 and in the top 10. You got to be thinking championship over there.
Well, at Richard Childress Racing, that's what they expect. You know, you want to do that. And the main thing is consistency. That's what hurt us last year. Our goal this year is to be consistent. Not have those, minimize the bad days and the bad ones, make them as good as you can. So right now things are looking good. A couple top 10s in a row. Should have been a little bit better, but we had days that went haywire that we salvaged good finishes with. So that's our goal.
And looking out here at Auto Club, this is the oldest surface that we race on. How does it feel out there, especially in this hot 80-degree weather?
Love it. I love this. I love Kentucky. I love these tracks that have these surfaces that wear the tires out. The toughest part about this track right now is the seams. The seams really screw with you. You got to be super duper careful trying to cross those seams. For the folks at home, think of that gooey crap they put on your road at home, you know, to fill the little cracks in the road. And on a hot day, you put your foot on it, it turns. Well, that's what's happening out there. But it's so much fun to race on. I love the old asphalt. It wears the Goodyear tires out, and I hope they don't repave this for another 10 years.
Oh, we all hope that. All the fans do. We see some great racing out here. Does that big Toyota speedometer at the end of the front stretch, does that throw you for a loop every time you go down there?
I don't really care to know that I'm doing 200 miles an hour. I have looked at it once in a while, and you kind of go, oh, crap, we're going really fast. You know, so we don't have speedometers in our race cars. My Chevrolet does not say one thing about how fast I'm going, and that's the this is the only track in the world that we go to that we can see how fast we're going. So it is kind of cool.
Good luck out there tomorrow in the Cup race.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And if you don't know what we're talking about right there, Toyota and the Auto Club Speedway put basically one of those speed trap monitor things at the end of the front stretch in turn number 1. Basically one of those things you see around schoolyards that yell at you, "You're going 3 miles over the speed limit! Stop!" Ah! Those things. They put up a giant one in turn number 1 that you can see from basically LA, and really you can see it when you're driving. I did a pace car right here last year, and I'm going to do one tomorrow. Yes, I'm excited about it. And you can see it from the pace car. You can see it where you are in the car. You'd have to be blind not to see it. And for these guys to look up and see 203, 204, 205, 207, it kind of makes you go, okay, I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that. Because when you're in the car, you don't have a concept of speed. You just know I'm going fast. You can't tell if you're going 200 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour. Obviously, there's a huge speed difference there, but you don't know what the number is. You don't think about it. There's a reason there's no speedometer in these race cars. That's precisely the reason. You don't want to think about it. You just want to, okay, I want to go down there. I'm not going to focus on what's happening right now. All I'm going to do is just go as fast as I can. I'm going to go down there. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to freak out. Oh my gosh, I'm going 210. Oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. That's the thought process. It's really awesome for the fans. It's cool for us media members. It's got to be absolutely horrendously terrifying for these drivers. Morbid, just bad. And yeah, you get, if you subscribe, gearheads, to the tunnel vision theory where, oh, I don't even see the stands, then yeah, a little bit. Adrenaline kicks in and you very much blur out the rest of the world and you get that tunnel vision when you're driving. But a lot of drivers don't notice that. But a couple of them do. Brendan Gaughan right there, he very much noticed that. He's my sleeper for this championship in the NASCAR Xfinity Series because he's been there every single week. He's been very consistent in the Xfinity Series this season so far. And yeah, we're only a few races in. We're only a handful of races in. But at the end of the day, he's heading into a couple weeks off here. And guess what? He's doing pretty good. I'm just saying. Looking at the points right now, Ty Dillon currently leading Chris Buescher by 5 points. Chase Elliott 5 markers back. Ryan Reed 19 back. Darrell Wallace 22 markers back in 5th. Brendan Gaughan 23 markers back in 6th. Regan Smith 7th right now, 30 markers back. Followed by Elliott Sadler, 39 points back. David Starr, 9th, 51 points back. And 10th, Brian Scott, who is 53 points back in the NASCAR Xfinity Series point standings. The owner standings look a little bit different. The 22 car of Roger Penske, he is currently leading Rick Hendrick's number 88 Chevrolet by 8 points. Richard Childress's number 3 Chevrolet is third right now, coincidentally, 24 markers back. Jack Roush's number 60 car is 29 markers back and fourth, and Richard Childress's number 33 Chevrolet is 37 markers back. Quite a bit of a difference than the actual points, and that's why they do it. It's because it's different. So we'll talk about that, of course, later on as the season progresses for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, as well as the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series and Camping World Truck Series, respectfully. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and take our final break here. I will get you an update from Detroit and Ford Field. Supercross happening right now out there. Some pretty amazing racing if you're a gearhead like I am and you love Supercross. Supercross is my new addiction. I got into it 3-4 years ago, whatever it's been now, and I got bit very hard by it, and I'm loving every second of it. And I've been covering them now for a few seasons, and I absolutely love it. It's it's one of my favorite events to cover. It truly is. It's just some amazing racing, and you just have to stop no matter where you are and go, wow, that's cool. Because it is. It's one of those things that really grabs your attention, and just you really just have to pay attention because you can't turn away from Supercross. It's just so thrilling, and it's so different from NASCAR gearheads in every single way, yet similar in others. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So I encourage you to check that out if you haven't gotten a chance to check that out as of yet. So what we're going to go ahead and do, thank you, music, we'll go ahead and we'll step aside here for the final time. Do me a favor, don't go anywhere. We're live from the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, post-race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series on a Saturday afternoon out here in Southern California, and you're shifting gears right here on ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
Dreaming when I think of the safety in the clouds out my window. I wonder what keeps us so high up. Could there be love beneath these wings? If we suddenly fall, should I scream out? Or keep very quiet and cling to my mouth as I'm crying, so frightened of dying? Relax, yes, I'm trying, but fear's got a hold on me. Yes, this fear's got a hold on me. Yes, this fear's got a hold on me.
Sick of bad race coverage or none at all from those other networks? Make ARN your one and only for all things motorsports. ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
Okay, so let's say that you're trying to build a website for free on one of these website builders. You go ahead and spend hours uploading your personal information and all of the photos that you've taken of your products, only to find out that you can't bring a .com onto that website without paying a huge fee. And you can't remove those ads without paying a huge fee. And you can't remove all of those pesky "this website was built for free" buttons without paying a huge fee. By the time you've paid all these fees, you've paid thousands of dollars in order to remove all of these pesky ads. Why go through all the hassle? Why spend all of those hours doing it yourself? Go ahead and log on to apolloaesthetics.com, not only to request a quote to build your brand new website and to see a rendering of what your website could look like, but in order to set up services like email, hosting, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram accounts, and a whole lot more. That is Apollo Aesthetics and apolloaesthetics.com.
Our son, Alan, was a combat medic.
One night in Iraq, his platoon came under heavy fire.
Without any regard for his safety, Alan left a covered position and rushed to the young wounded and was hit himself.
Critically wounded, Alan Babin will require daily care for the rest of his life. Paralyzed Veterans of America is here to help our injured veterans get all the benefits they've earned.
PVA is the voice of wounded veterans.
To support paralyzed veterans, visit pva.org.
Nurse, I need you to apply pressure to the head wound until I can get to it. I'm concerned she's lost too much blood.
Oh, no.
You in the corner, who are you? You're not supposed to be here.
She's my girlfriend, Doctor.
You need to wait out in the waiting room.
Please, Doctor, I want to stay with her.
Look, she's been badly injured. So if you want to do what's best for her, you need to let us do our work.
Please, Doctor, she has to be okay. I didn't mean to do this. I love her.
Wait a second. You were the driver?
Yes, but I didn't mean to. I swear, we went to dinner. I was just buzzed. I only had a few drinks.
Just buzzed? Why didn't you tell us that? In that case, your girlfriend is fine.
Hey, sweetie. I feel great. You want to get out of here?
I can't believe this. Really, Doctor? She's really okay?
What, are you kidding? No, not really. Nurse, get me a suture kit. Stat.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
Thousands of our fighting men and women in the Middle East have been badly wounded. Many are missing limbs, and when they get home, they have very special needs for the rest of their life.
During their recovery and rehabilitation, whatever it takes to improve their quality of life, whatever it takes, Operation Second Chance gets it done.
Now go to OperationSecondChance.org and watch that video. These brave young Americans have paid the ultimate price to keep us safe, and it's amazing what just $1 or $2 will do on their behalf.
Go to OperationSecondChance.org and watch that video. Believe me, you're going to want to help. Thanks.
Sick of bad race coverage or none at all from those other networks? Make ARN your one and only for all things motorsports. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Stash Feed. Get the feed. Log on to StashFeed.com to see what you've been missing and get the feed. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Bailey.
We're live from the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, post-race show for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race, which just wrapped up. Kevin Harvick is your race winner for that series. Had him on just a little bit ago. Thank you to him for stopping on by amongst a very busy schedule. Seriously, the guy is on fire. I'm not exaggerating here. Insanely good. Seriously. It's pretty amazing what he's doing. I mean, truly. I want to get to the Twitter because I haven't done it all show. I really haven't. So I'm going to, because I haven't. I want to give you the love, gearheads, that you give me. Or in other people's case, I want to give you restraining orders because you scare me sometimes with some of the things you send me. I don't want to see those. Kent, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that on the air. Not, sorry, won't do it. Won't even reply. I'll just block. Like this. Block. You're gone. Get away from me. Now, excuse me, as my voice is trying to hold up here as best I can. This one coming from Bipolar Official, okay? It reads, cough, cough, Jeffrey Earnhardt needs a full-time quality ride. Cough, cough, underrated, hashtag NASCAR. I agree. Jeffrey Earnhardt has not gotten a shot in good equipment. He hasn't. He, I think, has a lot of untapped potential. I don't want to say you can put him in a really good Xfinity car or Cup car right now and he'd go out there and win a race and championships, because I don't think that that's the case of any driver, ever. But there's a lot of untapped potential there, just like there was with Chase Elliott a year ago. Look how that turned out. But earlier today, Jeffrey Earnhardt, he was racing in this Xfinity race, and he was putting on quite a little show right there. He was really he was doing very good in a car that, let's just say, isn't the best, Jeffrey. I mean, I don't mean to belittle you here, but he was driving that number 55 Chevrolet, originally not the driver scheduled to actually drive it. Sadly enough, he wasn't scheduled to be in that car this weekend. No, but the team's regular driver, Jamie Dick, was diagnosed last week with diabetes, and unfortunately he's still in the hospital and he's still recovering, and we do wish him a speedy recovery. But Jeffrey was tapped last minute in order to pick up this ride, and honestly, he's done a heck of a job in it. He really has. He came out here and he ultimately today, He led a few laps today, actually, during green flag pit stops, but he was running inside the top 15 for a majority of the race, and unfortunately got trapped a couple laps down right there at the end. And just when the cautions fell the way that they did, it just kind of snowballed from there, and ultimately finished 28th on the day. But ultimately, that does not prove the car that he had. Frankly, the car that he has, Jamie Dick, no offense to them, is not quality equipment. They're not a multi-million-dollar organization with thousands of people working for them. Instead, they're an organization that has about 20-ish people working for them, I want to say, if memory serves. They're struggling. They're looking for sponsorship. They're looking for everything and anything that they need in order to keep going. And ultimately, we'll see what happens with them. Honestly, it's one of those wait and see kind of situations. They might get some sponsorship here and be able to run more races, but Jeffrey Earnhardt, I think, deserves a full-time Xfinity Series ride, and whether he gets that or not is a big question mark, but we'll see, ultimately. It's one of those we have to wait and see kind of deals. Now, show's up. My time's over. I want to tell you right now, the 250 Last Chance Qualifier happening out there in Detroit and Ford Field right now. So we'll see who qualifies in for this 250 class, who gets that LCQ. Ultimately, phenomenal racing going on Fox Sports 1. I highly encourage you to turn it on over to check it out. There's some great racing going on there. But before I get out of here, I promise you I would do this, and I keep my promises. I'm going to write a letter to a certain somebody who really just needs to let it go, get over it, and just give up all petty vendettas over a bad breakup. I'm giving it, and I'm not saying her name on the air. I'm writing this week's open letter to Kurt Busch's ex-girlfriend. Dear Mrs. Kurt Busch's ex-girlfriend, sorry that I don't address this to your real name, but not even in the post will I give you the attention that you so clearly crave. In all seriousness, what is your problem with people? Because word around the water cooler is that you're kind of mean most of the time to everyone that you meet. I also hear that you're continuing to spout your mouth about how Kurt's a bad guy and how things are not over yet. Are we really going to go down this road? Are we truly not better than this? Are we truly just going to keep going? And simply put, is mouthing off to the media really the wisest decision? Because at this point, it is really not helping your cause. You truly just need to please stop. We know that this is alleged. We know that we can't prove yes or no it happened. Yet at the same time, you really need to let it go. Haven't you seen the movie Frozen? Did you not learn that we must let it go? Just simply let it go? If you haven't seen it, please let me know, and ARN will send you a copy of Frozen in order to prove our point. But must you continue to air your dirty laundry publicly? And what is the point? Why do you pointlessly refer to both Kurt Busch and NASCAR by name as often as humanly possible? If you have an intent of destroying Kurt's driving career, and it seems that you do, clearly it isn't working. What do you think about him getting the pole for the race this weekend? Are you trying to tell NASCAR he was cheating? Do you think he was cheating somehow? I don't think he was. I was here. Where are you? I haven't seen you at the racetrack in a little while. Is that restraining order backfiring in some way? I know that you are running a multi-million-dollar corporation and that you're the CEO of a Washington-based surveillance team. So I must ask, are you surveilling Kurt? Because you're coming off extraordinarily stalkerish lately, and it's not very nice. You just need to stop. Just truly stop at this point. Seriously, let it go. I wish you all the best. I wish your foundation, Armed Forces Foundation, all the best, and I will continue to support them And if I ever need a surveillance system, I probably won't go to you, but I will make sure that I stay far, far away from you if it makes you feel any better. See you at the track. Just kidding. Sincerely, Alan Bailey, ARN. Seriously, she needs to stop. She came out, if you missed the article, I hope you did, she came out in USA Today and basically said the word NASCAR about 6 million times in that article, said Kurt Busch's name another 2 million times in the article, and tried to bash them both. And it was kind of like, what's the point? Where are you going with this, lady? What are you trying to do? Because at this point, she's honestly just trying to badmouth and just drag everybody through the mud. And it's not dragging anybody through the mud. She's, at this point, dragging herself through the mud. And she's kind of in the mud, kicking and screaming and yelling about how it's everybody else's fault. And really, it's just like, what? Can we just let this go? Can you just continue your work with the Armed Forces Foundation and your surveillance company and just stay away from Kurt and NASCAR? Because it's truly getting bad at this point. So really, she needs to just go away, because at this point, her 5 seconds of fame, and by the way, she's been trying to break into the NASCAR fold for a decade. Yeah, 10 years. She's been trying to kind of be in NASCAR, involved with the Armed Forces Foundation, and then she started dating Kurt, and it was kind of like weird because she put her foundation's logo on Kurt's car, and it was this weird situation, and it was very weird. She was very self-promoting, and I gotta wonder what was the intent of that relationship when she initially started it. And Kurt ended it. She didn't agree with it, and she confronted him, and it got bad, and it was just what happened in that motorhome. I don't know. I wasn't there. We'll never know. That's between Kurt and that woman. But honestly, at this point, it doesn't matter. We can't prove what happened one way or the other. I hope no acts of domestic violence happened there. I hope that's the case, but we don't know that to be the case. So this just all needs to stop. Ultimately, it needs to stop. She needs to go away. She needs to stop mouthing off in the USA Today. Seriously, it's bad all the way around. And on that happy note, we've got actually a lot of great racing coming up here tomorrow. Seriously, the Auto Club 400 coming up tomorrow. If the Xfinity race, the DriveForClots.com 300 was any indication of what we're going to see tomorrow, then I'm sold on a ticket, truly. And yes, the Speedway is selling standing room only tickets for tomorrow. You can log on to autoclubspeedway.com. You can also call 1-800-944-RACE in order to get some standing room only tickets, because for the second straight year, the Auto Club 400 at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, sold out. That is a huge achievement. This track was struggling for a little while there with track attendance, and it has come back. But it turns out when you put on amazing racing, amazing side-by-side racing, and you have some amazing finishes out here, you're going to sell some tickets. And that's what we've been seeing, and that's what we continue to see out here in Southern California. So with that in mind, I am done for the day. I'm excited because guess what? 12:30 local time, that's 3:30 Eastern, we're going to have the Auto Club 400 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race. 200 laps, that's 400 miles out here at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. That's tomorrow. You can check it out on Fox. And yes, we'll be here, post-race coverage starting immediately following the Auto Club 400 out here at the Speedway. For everybody here at the American Racing Network and Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. See ya at the track.
You've been listening to the American Racing Network, a turn for media company. This is ARN, the Motorsports Authority.